I did a video a few months back called Is Airbnb Still Worth It in 2022? And I would love if you went and took a look at that because I talk about a lot of strategies on how we can still make great money here today in Airbnb. The video just popped up above. And I want to talk a little bit deeper now about the fact that Airbnb is the hottest thing around right now. So how do we make this a successful investment if we're still thinking about investing in it? Or if you're kind of on the bubble of, do I do long-term rentals? Do I do short-term? I can't quite figure out. Maybe I want to go one way or the other. I want to help you decide that right now. So first of all, what I want to say is a good investor can make money in any market. And you're gonna hear all the noise. You need to block out all the noise.
You guys!
So whether it's cities talking about regulations, or it's people talking about Airbnb is too much work, or man, it's getting saturated. Wow, that's one of the most popular terms right now for Airbnb, saturation. So we need to ignore all the noise. I'll tell you right now, I'll just compare this to the real estate industry. I am friends with a lot of real estate investors. They're making more money in their lives than they ever have before. And you're thinking, but what about these crazy rates and all these high prices? And it's because they've learned how to be able to adjust to the market. So all this noise that you hear from people saying it's not possible or it's not as fruitful as it was before, that's just the noise of people that don't know how to be able to create great income in a inflated market. So if you're a good investor, or if you're willing to learn the traits of what it takes to be a good Airbnb investor, then you definitely have what it takes to be able to adjust to the market. And if that feels like you, then go ahead and apply for our coaching program down below. I have an opportunity to be able to help you to build a six-figure Airbnb business. Just click on the application down in the description. Also, I want to compare large markets and small markets right now. So in a large market, let's just call it Orlando or Phoenix or Houston, Texas. These are legitimately places that you could argue are saturated because there's thousands of rentals and there's typically more supply than there is demand. So what do we do when there's more supply than demand? Well, we don't just furnish a place and throw it up on Airbnb and hope it gets booked. That's not a recipe for success. A recipe for success is getting innovative, getting really in depth of who is my guest, how can I give them the best experience possible, how can I stand out from the crowd, and that's what my entire channel is dedicated to. So if you haven't been watching the videos and you're like, well, how do I get innovative? You need to just watch every other video that's on this channel because we talk about algorithm, we talk about getting booked more often, we talk about how to be able to be different from the competition, and it's just little simple things that don't have to break the bank all the time in order to be able to be innovative. So get into the depths of this channel, learn those things, and apply that if you're in a large market. On the other side of it, if you're in a small market, this might be an opportunity for you. There's a lot of people still with this mindset out there of, well, Airbnb only works in vacation areas or it only works in these big metropolitan areas. I'm in Fresno, California. When I started in Fresno, California, there was only 150 rentals here in this area for Airbnb. Now today we have somewhere around 600. It's still not huge, but it's incredibly profitable. It works. And so if it works here and every place has to start somewhere, right? So if you're in, I don't know, Timbuktu, Idaho, and are like, there's only 10 rentals here, is this gonna work? Well, I can tell you one of my students is actually in a place like that in Idaho. They put it up on Airbnb and they're making more money than they thought they ever would. And there's only about 30 or 40 rentals on Airbnb in that area. So if you're in a small market and you have a low risk way of jumping in and trying Airbnb, maybe it's arbitrage, maybe it's co-hosting, maybe you already own a property, just try it. Just give it a shot and see if it works. And you might be one of the innovators, the kind of the pioneers in that area to plant your flag of Airbnb and to give it a true shot. And lastly, to me, if you're not using a dynamic pricing tool, then you are not investing in the short-term rental industry. And what I mean by dynamic pricing, let's just kind of picture it this way. If you're going and booking a plane flight and you see on one day, it's Monday and it's now $200, and then I go to book it again on Tuesday, now it's only $190. Now I book it on Thursday and oh wow, it jumped up to $220. Why is it doing that? It's supply and demand, and it's based on common days that people are booking places or booking flights. And that same thing happens in the short-term rental industry. You use a price pricing tool like Price Labs. That's the one that I recommend. Go ahead and click down on the link below for a free 30-day trial and an onboarding session with the Price Labs team. And I'm telling you, you are now innovating and doing a much better job than anyone else in your market, because 90% of people are not using a dynamic pricing tool, which means that they're either A, missing out on potential occupancy, and B, missing out on higher rates. So if you can use a tool like this and find that, hey, I went from $3,000 a month to this place to now $4,000, you're making a return on an investment, which, by the way, Price Labs is like $20 per listing to start off. It's such a no-brainer to just go and give this tool a shot and to actually start to get a great return on your nightly rates. Plus, it's gonna remove a ton of the guesswork away from your calendar. All in all, I think Airbnb is still an amazing investment opportunity, and I also think as more people start to believe that it is saturated, you're gonna start to see more people leave the industry. You're gonna start to see more people just never get into it, because they are the ones that are listening to the noise. So don't be the one to listen to the noise. Be the one to get out there to find a way to make it work, whether that's in your backyard or somewhere else that's 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours away from you, or maybe even further. If you have the desire, if you have that strong reason why you want to do it, this is still the best industry to get into at the lowest risk to build up the highest amount of income. I truly believe that. I believe this is the best industry to jump in with the lowest risk, the highest upside. I literally have a student that just turned this into a six-figure business in under 2 months, and he did it by just, again, innovating and thinking outside the box and not listening to the noise, using some of these techniques that we've talked about in both of these videos. So just go out there, get it done. I want to hear what you have to say though. Drop a comment.